Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you can find a way to win or you can find a way to lose. Man, things are getting ugly out here. You know what I'm saying? You got the internet buzzing right now because look, everybody's rooting for Remy. Now, I'm not saying that people feel that Remy is totally innocent in every single thing that has happened. But after the last couple of years of watching Claressa antagonize, harass her, and do all the things that she's done, there are a lot of people who now kind of, feel like Remy's the underdog being, double teamed by Papoose and Claressa. And they want Remy to win. But shit took a turn for the worse because Claressa went and mentioned Remy's name and Remy came out and she said this.
You're not getting half a shit, nigga.
Listen to that again.
You're not getting half a shit, nigga.
You're not getting half a S N-word. So what that did is that gave us a peek behind the tent flaps of what the hell is going on and why the divorce is taking so long. Because Eddie Murphy said he did it, I think it was in Raw, his stand-up comedy years ago. He made a joke about getting the African bush chick. I want half Eddie, half Eddie. And it's like, Papoose and Claressa both kind of got to assume the role of like the African bush chick. I want half Remy, half Remy. And fans are pissed, you know what I'm saying? When Remy came out and said that, because I'm like, damn, I'm surprised she said anything, to be honest with you. But boy, oh boy, it reignited debate across social media. And now you got everybody out here, man, talking about the situation. Me, I like to dig a little deeper, talk about the assets, divorce settlements, and how complicated high-profile separations can become. And it looks like this one is not going to be anything nice. It's going to be ugly. And it's going to be very unfortunate because, I don't ever talk about, I'm not going to. We know there's a certain somebody who's involved here, very innocent and is fucked up that this stuff is going the direction it's going. But we got to understand and try to break down the legal and emotional realities when it comes to these three. You know what I mean? They're celebrities. Doesn't matter if you like one or the other, or you don't like them. It doesn't matter. They're all celebrities. And when you're talking about celebrity divorces, man, the shit often ends up in a public spectacle. And it's become that way. And it's become that way. I'm gonna blame everybody, right? But really Claressa, man. That's because she just ain't got no brought up. See, you know what I'm saying? That's why this shit has turned into a fucking public spectacle. And Lord, I know y'all say, Hood, you don't cuss that much. Hey, yo, I cuss a whole lot. I just try to tone it down when I'm doing videos and doing my lives. But you don't know me, man. You know what I'm saying? I come from that combat world. My mouth is crazy. And when I'm talking about things that anger me, I get passionate about, you may get a few colorful adjectives and shit that come out to describe how I feel. But when it comes to this right here, families separate. This shit happens all the time. But when it comes to certain little ones, man, you got to protect them, man. So, look, this divorce, the dispute is gone way beyond the courtroom because it doesn't seem that they've made it there yet. You know what I'm saying? The fact that she's saying he wants half, he's not getting half, that tells me that that's what he wants. At least that's what his team is. I'm assuming he has some kind of lawyer, legal representation, and that's what they're saying. He wants half. And, I understand if they were married and they're still legally married, you know what I'm saying? And the more she makes and the more she accrues, and the same thing with him, that they both may be entitled to it. But it seems that she has a lot more than he does. And during the whole relationship, she was the breadwinner. And so to see that they're going separate ways, I agree with her. I ain't trying to make nothing complicated. Whatever you had, take it and go. If there's something that we accrued together, let's figure that piece out. But anything that I spent my money on, that you had nothing to do with, no help with nothing, it was all on me, you ain't getting that. I agree with that. Whatever we both brought in, we keep. Whatever we may have, went in on together, let's sort that out. But anything that was all me, 100%, my money, my everything, nah, you ain't gonna come and take that. And as a man, I wouldn't do that. Now, I don't know what the hell his deal is. I don't know the story. Because all we know is it's a lot of assumption, a lot of assuming, that's going on here. But I would hope that he's not going to allow his, if in fact he's just being greedy, to preclude the outcome of this divorce. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can't come out here and try to delay things. Like, fuck that, man. Hold on. Oh, sorry. Had a text come through right there. But don't do that. Just get out of it. This is my thing. If you don't want to be in a relationship, she doesn't want to be in it, then just get up out of there. So I do believe now that Remy's come out and said it, man. The reason he's hanging around is for money. But if you're making money, like he said, we getting money. If you're making all that money, what does it matter? You and Remy come together and just say, hey, look, sort out the things that you guys accrued together and everything else go separate ways. That's what I would do. Because if you're making money like that, millions and millions of dollars, what do you care? That's what I don't understand. If I'm making $4, $5, $10 million, and then my wife is over there making whatever she's making, there's no need for us to be going back and forth on dough. I got dough, you got dough. What's most important here is, of course, the little body, but then our happiness. You know what I'm saying? But the number one priority should be the little one, then our body. I don't get it. But this thing about trying to divide assets, that is what seems to be the problem. You know what I mean? Finances and assets, boy. And that's one of the biggest issues in many divorces, man. Deciding how marital property should be divided. But I'm going to tell you, for me, if it was me, I just want what I came in it with. And the rest, we can sort some things out, but I just want my happiness. I'd be about it. I don't understand. I just don't get it. But everybody's different. You know what I'm saying? But I do know that, maybe some of this is beyond her control and his control. You know what I'm saying? Once you get lawyers involved, depends on the jurisdiction. Look, I'm no lawyer. I'm just having a conversation. I do know courts may consider factors such as, when assets were acquired, whether they're separate or marital property, the state laws, and any agreement between the spouses. So if two people can't sort it out, and that's what it seems like they're at a disagreement here. The worst thing you want is for the goddamn lawyers to get involved and the judge to get involved. You know what I'm saying? Because social media opinion doesn't mean anything. What everybody is saying, whether you think he deserves half or you think he doesn't, social media opinion doesn't determine the legal outcome. The legal outcome depends on those rules that I just talked about, and probably a lot more than that. But the fans are reacting strongly. And I'm surprised. It's not just women, even men. Now, there was one, cockerhole who came out here and he was saying, look, man, the women do it to the men all the time. They're always getting a half. They're screwing us. Look what happened to, what's that basketball player's name? Is it Arenas or whatever? But anyway, he was married to the chick, left him with like $2 million, took the house, took $20 million. She took cash. She took the businesses. She got everything, and he pays child support. I can't remember his name. I think it's Gilbert Arenas, and he was married to the light skinned chick, the one that I can't remember her name, but on BET Awards she was winning awards. But I don't know, because y'all don't follow none of that shit. I just saw it on Twitter yesterday. Somebody had posted something like Pap trying to do Remy like this guy. I thought it was Arenas or whatever. But y'all would know. I'm sure someone would say in the comments, because y'all know I don't be keeping up with that shit. But that, again, that's what people. That's how I read the comment, and that's what this guy was saying. I don't feel bad for Remy because women been doing it to us for years. And I'm like, okay, another idiot out here, you know what I'm saying, who just saying shit to get under people's skin. But the strong reaction from 98% of people is that Remy's being done unfairly. And I do, man. I understand. If one spouse contributed more financially, I don't think they should get screwed. That's just my opinion, man. And I can understand Remy feeling like the division that Pap wants seems unfair, and that's why she's emotional, man. She's agitated. You know what I mean? She's agitated. I'd be agitated too, because now I'm watching Claressa Shields. I'm like, that's why Claressa be out here talking this shit. That's why she out here feeling the kind of way, because she know Pap. She know what Pap is doing. She know Pap going for half. I'm assuming she knows that he wants half. And that's why she sit back laughing like, the more money Remy make, the more money gonna come back to Papoose and I. You see what I'm saying? I 100% believe this. Now remember, this is my opinion, but I'm telling you, I believe 100%. This is why Claressa's so comfortable doing and saying what she wants, because she want to get under Remy's skin. She want Remy to say stuff. She wants Remy to get out of character. That way it could help strengthen maybe the whole custody thing where Papoose can, if not get full, to get some kind of custody. You know what I mean? It's just like the caller who called in the other night and was talking about what Remy was saying jokingly on the Angie Martinez show about how she got, connects and she likes guns and stuff like that. And I thought she was joking. I didn't think nothing of it, but obviously I heard her say it, and after she said it, I just heard it. Like I wasn't actively listening. I was doing a video or doing an outline, and I had it playing on my TV in my office, and I heard her say it, but I didn't think anything of it. So I forgot what she said actually until people started mentioning it. I'm like, damn, y'all really holding on? That's a joke. But it just tells me that she got to be careful, man, because they're trying to set her up. They want her to react. They want her to react. They want all this stuff to be on video, all this stuff to be on audio. They want her to say something crazy, and so they could in court. They could come and play it. They're trying to give Remy the okie doke. And Claressa, she right there. It's really, really frustrating to watch this, man. Because now that I have a better understanding, and after Remy said that, and I'm watching everything's been playing out, I'm like, yo, they really are being calculated here. She got to be very careful, man. Very careful, man. Because this thing about the legal standards, I already know that's gonna differ from what I and most fans are going to think what's fair when it comes to Remy and Papoose separating. I already know that. And it's important to remember that, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I don't have access to anything that was filed in court. I don't have that. I don't know about any evidence. I don't know anything at all that's going on with them except for the little snippets we get online. But I'll tell you, that me as an outside observer and you all as outside observers, we can't know the full picture. All we can do is go off what they tell us. But I'm just saying, in my opinion, the little body should come first. That's the only thing that I take an interest in, because I'm all about the kids and shit. It don't matter. I don't even have to know you. Whenever I go places, I like to see people with their kids, maybe because I'm so close to mine. But I like those things get my attention. All the drama, I could care less. It's entertaining. But I'll lock in when it comes to things about children. And that's why I think children should come first. And I do feel when it comes to both of them, some may disagree with it, but I do think that they both make the child comes first. But there's some things I see there. I'm not gonna comment on it, right? Because I don't even want to say that, because that ain't what I'm here to do. But there's some things I see, and I just see some things, and I'm like, and that's all I'll say right there. I'll say this, man, please. I'll give y'all the Claressa Shields. I've seen a couple things, man, and I'm like, and I'll leave it as that right there. But what I will say is, from my experience, dealing with thousands of people at all levels, there's always been an emphasis, right, in the organizations that I was attached to, that children should be the focus, and children benefit when parents minimize conflict around them. You see, Claressa Shields is nothing but conflict. She is conflict. She's everywhere, man. Everywhere. So I could only imagine what struggles, maybe even for old Papoose, him, man, what struggles people could face if you have a Claressa Shields in your life. And you're out here trying to minimize any drama from being around your little one or getting to your little one. You know what I'm saying? I could only imagine how hard you have to work, how diligent you have to work to keep that crap away. Because it's out there. You know what I'm saying? And to make sure their name's not getting brought up, nothing about any public disputes from anybody, You know what I'm saying? And keep adult disagreements definitely separate from parenting. Like, try not to mention any of that stuff at all. But I just think the most important thing here and the most important goal is just trying to shield the kids from the ongoing conflict, you know? But when you watch this and you just think about a little one involved, the money, the assets, celebrities, they got professional careers, that's a lot, man. That is a lot for anybody to have to deal with and manage. Even for old Papoose over there, man, it's a lot on his shoulders too. It's a lot of shit. If for Remy, she's the one who I feel is kind of in a situation where it's her against the world, And when I watch it, I'm like, yeah, I feel a kind of way about Remy. I ain't gonna get into all that, but I'll tell you, I support her 100%. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I don't get caught up in all this, but the more I sit back and watch all this, I don't think anybody's perfect. But if you ask me who I'm supporting, who I'm rooting for Remy, man. She the one that's there with the baby. So, I'm rooting for her to make sure that she has great days, to make sure she's mentally healthy, and to make sure that, she gets everything that she wants and more. Because at the end of the day, if the child is spending, I'm assuming, 90% of the time with her, and this is an assumption, I don't know, but if she's always with mommy, 90% of the time, 95% of the time, 100% of the time, well, I need mommy to be as healthy as she can, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, 100% of the time. You know what I'm saying? So I want. So that's how I see it. Because I know these celebrity divorces become very emotional. Look at how the fans are reacting. So you can only imagine, behind the scenes, what's going through, Remy, and even for Papoose. You know what I'm saying? It ain't easy for him either. That shit involves more than legal issues. These celebrity divorces, it's a pain in the ass. And now the whole world knows. It's because Claressa, man. She just nonstop, man. Like, they shouldn't even be talking about nothing. Just leave shit alone. Leave shit alone, man. My man, my hubby, my all that. Now that I'm sitting here, I'm like, I really do think that, sometimes people will try to do things to get under your skin to get a reaction out of you just so they can use your reaction against you. I'm sitting here paying attention. I'm like, look, I'm not saying I'm right. So I'm just having a conversation. But, when you have these celebrity divorces, your public image gets affected, business relationships, future earning, fan support, and media narratives. And even routine legal disagreements can become headline news, and that's what's happened here. All this stuff has become headline news. But, there's just a lot of challenges, man, especially trying to separate fact from speculation because we don't know. At least for me, I don't know too many facts about any of this. I just know there's a lot of conversation. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't there. I hear what this person says, and now we just sit there and, have a conversation about it. But I'm just trying to understand and distinguish between like confirmed public statements. Don't know nothing about court filings. I haven't seen anything. I did have some people send some stuff to me, and they went to the courthouse trying to look stuff up. Some of that stuff is public information. They were able to access a few things. Somebody said they had some media reports, but The one person went to the courthouse. They came across some stuff, and I kind of talked about some of it a while ago. But I just think there's a lot of fan theories. You know what I'm saying? And I do know when it comes to the speculation, especially about why a divorce is taking a certain amount of time. This thing about it's taking a lot of time because there's someone who is going to benefit financially. You want to say it's speculative, but Remy came out and said it. So to come out and say there's no credible evidence, true. Those are just her words, but I do believe there's some truth to what she's saying. That's just my opinion. I listen to her. I don't watch a whole lot of this, but she doesn't really say a lot about the whole situation. But for her to come out and say somebody wants half, Papoose wants half, that's crazy. So that I do think that's what's going on. I do. And do I need credible evidence? I mean, to me, she's credible evidence when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? And if anyone's saying, oh man, y'all are wrong, look, it's fair to discuss these theories. It's just a conversation, part of public conversation. Everybody's talking about it, But that's why with me, I'm not trying to present anything as an established fact. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you it's a conversation and tell you what I believe, because I really don't know. But I do believe what she's saying about the man one half, and that could be what's really holding up the divorce and making things difficult. And I do believe that Claressa is out here, just my opinion, who's trying to stir the pot and say little things to get a reaction out of Remy. That way it strengthened Papoose's position with the divorce. And as a result, I do think Remy's kind of getting double teamed because Claressa is someone who you could tell she wants to irk you. She wants to get under your skin. And then she wants to come back and laugh and just further irritate you. But when she does that, that just makes us love Remy more. Because I don't care about none of this shit, but I ain't gonna lie, I'm rooting for Remy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm rooting for Remy. I want when the dust settles for her to get everything she wants and more and to be at peace. Because that shit is corny to me, man. Because me as a man, I wouldn't do that. And maybe it's because I have, because I have. But I mean, I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want to try to do that to a chick. You know what I'm saying? If I really am not happy with somebody, I'm up out of it. Now, this whole thing about what would you? I don't know. I've never been through that. I can't say. But I do know one thing. I'm not a guy who cares about materialistic things. I wasn't raised that way. I'm not that way. I'll never become that way. So, with me, I'm the guy. I can have a dirt floor, galvanized roof. I got my little iron pot. Got my little music. Cook my food and shit. I don't care. I don't care. Yo, I'll never lose my poor man mentality. Never. Just chill. If I gotta go out there and plant my little garden, chop my little whatever, couple little chicken and duck in the back, bust the throat on them, clean them, cook my own food. I'm the ultimate hunter-gatherer out here. Farming type cat. I don't need shit, man. I know how to live like that. So whatever I've been able to amass, it doesn't mean shit to me. So it really would be all about my kids and about my peace. And it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just know that when it comes to these high-profile divorces, it just reminds us that legal disputes, man, and public opinion are just two different things. The public opinion is just a public opinion, right? Nobody is like, we're entitled to our own opinions. We're not entitled to our own facts. No one out here is speaking facts. They're just opinions. Unless you sat there and you heard what both of them said and you've read the explicit paperwork, then it's just an opinion. And there's nothing wrong. So it's a public conversation. Their situation is out there now. And people are going to keep talking about it. But at the end of the day, the court decides legal rights based on evidence and law. And I'm not going to put any time into trying to go and play goddamn detective also and try to play like I'm some kind of lawyer. Fuck, I ain't Matlock. I'm trying to play Matlock and shit. But what I will tell you, doesn't matter what you think, I think, what Remy thinks, Papoose thinks, Claressa thinks. No, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks. The court decides legal rights based on evidence and law. The public often forms opinions based on headlines, interviews, and incomplete information. So, for everyone involved in this situation, especially if children are part of the family, the healthiest long-term outcome is usually that, one I would say is that these guys resolve the legal battles, man, and the legal issues fairly, while reducing unnecessary public conflict. And this is why it's so important to me to just keep people outside of it. Anything going on between Remy and Papoose, they got to keep that to themselves. Even he may get some people to come out here and Papoose speaks and applaud him. Yeah, good job. Yeah, man, we rooting for you, Pappy, and this and that. Remy did you wrong. Don't do it. That whatever that reassurance or people making you feel good like you're doing the right thing, these people don't matter. You know what I'm saying? The people on the internet don't matter. We mean nothing to y'all. What should be happening is those conversations should be happening between him and Remy alone. Don't tell Claressa nothing. Claressa know too much already, in my opinion. Too much already. And I just don't like the appearance. The appearance is that, like no kidding, like Remy's being double teamed. It's crazy to me. But anyway, just understand the court's going to decide everything based on evidence, based on the law. And this could go a number of directions. But I'll say this, time for Remy and Papoose. Both of them just don't say nothing. Don't say nothing anymore. And for Claressa, she 100%, she should have never been talking anyway. That's crazy to me. Papoose got this girl out here, man. And he probably said, I don't know, maybe I'm trying to think as a man. What would I do, But I definitely wouldn't have no woman out here saying nothing about my wife or the person who I'm gonna divorce, especially when I have a child. Because I don't want that, because I know if I make her upset or put stress on her or worry on her, I know that trickles down to my little one. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine, right? If every day you go to your bank account, let's say you have $1,000 in there. You go in there today, you withdraw 100. Next day, you withdraw 100. That's 200 from the 1,000. You got 800 left. And every day you want to withdraw 100. By the 10th day, you have nothing left. So on day 11, you go to withdraw 100, and that shit, funds unavailable. And the reason I give you this as kind of analogy is because it's almost like trying to make emotional withdrawals. If you want to make an emotional withdrawal, there need to be some kind of emotional investment. So I'm trying to imagine Remy, or when Claressa says something, the emotional withdrawal, right? Takes a little bit of her patience away. Then it happens again. And then what ends up happening over time, she's there and her patience is running thin, because every couple of days there's a withdrawal being made because of something Claressa may have said, or some shit that's going on behind the scenes with phone calls and texts and bullshit. Then all of a sudden now, where the time where Remy needs to have patience when dealing with the little one or important business meetings or whatever it is, she doesn't. So it trickles down and it starts to affect the personal life. You know what I mean? And that's what I was talking about. Somebody who has $1,000 in the bank, if every day you try to withdraw $100, and by the 10 days, it's all gone. 11th day, you can't withdraw shit. And then, things are all bad. It's just like emotions. People just keep, chipping away. The next thing you have nothing there. Now you still got to deal with your children, friends, business associates, or whatever. And you can find yourself being a bit short fused. And that's why it's important for them just to get this divorce over with. It is, because, I think everyone out here, like I'm 51. I know a lot of y'all, especially on the live, older than me, but we're all adults. We've all been out there dating back in the day. Some were married and divorced. But I'm sure we've all been in situations where you may have been with somebody and then you decide to go separate ways. And it can get a little bit uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you had some feelings for a person. And it does start to feel good when you start to get back out there and conversate and interact with other people, and then you start to kind of rebound a little bit. But when I'm watching Remy and even Papoose, whatever the hell he's doing there with Claressa, I think they both need to be able to kind of rebound and get themselves together and get this behind them and go on and live their lives, man. Because the longer this drags on, the more it's just gonna, I think, just wear away at them, tear away at them, chip away at them, and it's unfair. And I wouldn't want it, but anyway, it doesn't matter what I want. I'm just watching it. I'm just shaking my head. You just have unnecessary public conflict. But this is the time for Remy, even though I know, to me, it seems like she kind of get the raw end of the deal. Just take a deep breath and just don't say nothing. Don't say nothing, because I really think deep down, this could be what people want, to get her to say things, get her to react emotionally, something they could come back and use against her. I really think so. Because with everything with Papoose and Claressa is out there. There's really not much about anything about Remy. So any little nugget she gives them, they're gonna hold on to that. Interesting, man. Anyway, Eddie Hearn warned us about people wanting half. I want half, Eddie. Now it seems like Papoose and Claressa want half from Remy. Keep cool, man. I'm in the breeze. I will be going live later, all right? Good.